Oh.
make it go longer to let somebody else live. Yeah.
Are we ready?
Mm-hmm. Good evening. I would like to call to order the City Commission meeting for Tuesday, September 9th, 2025. We will have roll call by Melissa.
Commissioner Faulkner.
Here.
Vice Mayor Van Oster.
Here.
Commissioner Hendricks.
Here.
Mayor Maples.
Here.
And Commissioner Jones is absent this evening.
We will now have our invocation by Pastor Melvin Simpson of the First Church of God in Christ. Please stand. Good evening.
Shall we bow? Heavenly Father, we thank you, God, for all your many blessings and how you watched over us and blessed us all day long. We thank God, Jesus, for our city, Lord. We ask you tonight, Lord, to bless our commissioners and mayors and all workers. Bless our city. Keep us, God, in the center of our will. God, we do thank you for all your goodness. In Jesus' name we pray, amen.
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 I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, we will now have a review of the agenda. Consent agenda. Number one, City Commission meeting minutes for Tuesday, August 26th, 2025. City Commission special meeting minutes for Thursday, September 4th, 2025. And the 2025 appropriation ordinance number AO-25-17 in the amount of $1,349,629.98. And our Vice Mayor Van Oster has highlights for that.
Yes, just a few. We have Alert Roof Systems. We did 3 roof replacements at the airport S hangar, the golf course clubhouse, and then the raw water building roof for the total of $77,224. We have Algar Martin, and this is for several projects we have going on. Pay estimate number 9 on the 8th Street water design, the 5th and Santa Fe culvert, the CRMC project, the 11th through 12th, 7 streets there, and then 11th Street inlet, and those all came up to be $59,573. We have Coffeyville Regional Medical Center, that is sales tax distribution, $83,405. JKS Construction, the 5th Santa Fe box culvert, number 2, estimate $72,839. We have Meridian Health, these are for health claims paid. $46,802.67. Midwest Fence. This is for the dog park fence materials. Those are the issues fencing that we approved a couple meetings ago. $12,600. Prairie Land Partners. This is that John Deere skid steer that we voted on. For the electric department, $112,638, and then we have payroll for $409,336. Sorry about that. That's all I got. 409.
Any questions on that?
No.
If not, I will move to approve items 1 through 3 of the consent agenda as presented.
Second.
Motion is made by Mayor Maples, seconded by Commissioner Faulkner to approve items 1 through 3 of the consent agenda as presented. Vice Mayor Van Oster.
Aye.
Commissioner Hendricks.
Aye.
Mayor Maples.
Aye.
Commissioner Faulkner.
Aye.
All right, we will move on to comments from the public. Any citizen desiring to address the commission shall be recognized, advance to the podium, state his or her name and address for the record. Comments shall be limited to 3 minutes unless extended by a vote of the majority of the commission. The commission does not hear matters involving litigation or city personnel. The commission does not take action on subjects not on the agenda unless unusual or hardship conditions exist. Citizens may address the commission on agenda items as they are brought to the floor.
Melvin Simpson, 2804 Midland Avenue. I stand more like a thank you all, because I had several people in my congregation that got the paint or the house fixed up. And they probably never would have got it done any other way. So I just want to thank you all for what you've done. And a lot of people appreciate that. And I don't know if anybody ever told you, but I wanted to tell y'all thank you.
Well, thank you,
Thank
because
you.
it's nice to hear that, because sometimes we hear the negative, and it's nice to hear that we're helping people, and that's what we want to be doing.
And
Thank you.
if I may, I'd like to kind of dovetail on what Pastor said there. A house in our neighborhood that was probably in danger of being red tagged. I stopped and talked to a young couple who had just bought that house, and they were in the process of clearing the yards front and back of the debris and the trash and repairing it. And I made them aware of the different programs that are available through the city. I did tell them that most of those programs have already been filled, but gave them Amber's number and told them to contact her for the next evolution on these grants as a first-time homeowner.
Okay, now we'll move on to regular agenda items. We have no public hearings, special presentations, or proclamations, so we will move on to old business. We have a second reading of ordinance G-25-03, an ordinance amending the model zoning ordinance of the city of Coffeyville, and by amending section 29.05.010 to add a definition for tiny homes and adding new sections to chapter 29.010 to create a zoning overlay district for tiny homes.
This is our second reading. I will go ahead and move to approve the second reading of ordinance G-25-03 as presented.
I'll second.
Motion is made by Vice Mayor Van Oster, seconded by Mayor Maples, to approve the second reading of ordinance G-25-03 as presented. Commissioner Hendricks.
Aye.
Mayor Maples.
Aye.
Commissioner Faulkner.
Aye.
Vice Mayor Van Oster.
Aye.
Okay, now we will have the second reading of ordinance G-25-05, an ordinance amending Chapter 2, Article 4, Division 2, Section 2-154 of the Code of Ordinances of the City of Coffeyville, Kansas, relating to the investment of idle funds.
Any
This is
questions?
Nope.
This is
Um,
also a,
okay.
go ahead, go
No,
ahead.
you go ahead.
No, I'm fine.
I'm fine.
Okay,
I will move to approve the second reading of ordinance G-25-05 as presented.
Second.
Motion is made by Vice Mayor Van Oster, seconded by Commissioner Hendricks, to approve the second reading of ordinance G-25-05 as presented. Mayor Maples.
aye.
Commissioner Faulkner.
Aye.
Vice Mayor Van Oster.
Aye.
Commissioner Hendricks.
Aye.
All right, we will move on to the third second reading. The second reading of ordinance G-25-06, an ordinance adopting electric rate schedule SUP-25 pursuant to Chapter 42, Article 1, Section 42-6, and repealing the line extension policy of the Code of Ordinances of the City of Coffeyville, Kansas. Go for it.
If there's no questions, I'll move to approve the second reading of ordinance G-25-06 as presented.
Second.
Motion is made by Commissioner Hendricks, seconded by Commissioner Faulkner, to approve the second reading of ordinance G-25-06 as presented. Commissioner Faulkner.
Aye.
Vice Mayor Van Oster.
Aye.
Commissioner Hendricks.
Aye.
Mayor Maples.
Aye. All right, moving on to new business. We have Resolution R-25-97, a resolution to adopt new policies and procedures for installation and parallel operation of customer-owned renewable electric generation facilities. Executive Director of Electric, Chris Weiner, will make comments. Good evening.
Good evening, how are you?
Good, how are you?
And Chris, I hope you have a Reader's Digest version of that and in simple layman's terms, because that made my head hurt reading through that thing. It's voluminous.
There's a lot to it. And please feel free to stop me at any point and ask any questions, and I'll try and be as brief and concise as I can. City Manager Brubaker, please do the same. But
I just had one question, and I'll give it to you before you get started. When you get there, you can answer it. The exterior of the cutoff switch, it references that utility personnel can go up and hit that outside mandatory cutout switch. Does that cut off electricity to the entire home or just the new installed unit?
so that would, if we are disconnecting essentially having a disconnection through that meter and through that service, it would then isolate that from feeding electricity to us or feeding electricity to them. And so that would truly disconnect the system. But that would be how we would isolate it if there was an issue.
So it would just isolate for instance, the solar panels, or would it completely sever electricity to the house? Would there be any electricity in the house once you hit that switch?
So I will have to verify with our team, but my understanding would be, and again, I'll verify and get back to you, but would be that it should disconnect the service to the entire house, because the meter itself is going to flow. It's bidirectional, and so everything behind the meter will be seen as one system. It'll be seen as one.
I think you need to shut off to the way it is from the generation piece to the house. Shut that off, because if there's a house fire, the fire department wants to shut that off. So if something happens in the house, it's not generating into the house. And yeah,
It's fair.
you want it.
So I think on our, and this would certainly be something that's like our meter shop, Mr. King would certainly have more insight into. I apologize for not having this answer for you this evening, but he would be responsible for inspecting these interconnections to our system to make sure that they're going to be safe to interconnect to our system. But the other component with that is that the property itself is supposed to be safe, and so to that point, that it should be set up that it can be isolated from the home as well in the event that they do need to do any maintenance on that equipment. It should be able to be truly isolated from the home. But for our purposes, from the utility side of things, we want to disconnect to be able to isolate the entire system, both the home and the solar panels themselves, because those will be interconnected. Because we won't see, for instance, if they're generating during the middle of the day during the summer, we won't see passing through our meter any electricity that they are producing and utilizing immediately. So we won't see any. Our meter won't register anything unless we are either giving them power to use, or if we are receiving power from them if they're producing more than they need. So in that situation, we would have a meter that would be calculating the bidirectional flow, but we could disconnect that, and so that's where we would want a separation or a disconnect on our side. But we should also have a disconnect from the solar panels or the windmill or whatever it may be that they use as a power generator device to that home as well, to be able to isolate that system from the home and from our network.
Well, in the absence of an emergency fire, as you mentioned, I would hope there would be some prior notification attempted with the residents of the house, just in case there was some medical equipment operating inside that didn't have a battery backup. you know, you could what if it the whole problem to death, but I would at least hope some form of prior notification was attempted, if there wasn't just some kind of a very critical emergency in process.
Right. So we would, like any other standard process for disconnection, if let's say it's for non-payment, we send out notice that says, hey, if you don't get your bill paid, you're subject to a disconnection. In the event that we were going to have to do maintenance or have any kind of work done, we would certainly provide that notice to try and make sure that that if we're going to disconnect that service, that they have that heads up and can then let us know of any kind of medical device issues or whatever there may be. In the event that there is a fire of some type, that it is an emergency type scenario, that's a little bit different situation, in that, you know, that disconnect is there to try and make sure that when the firefighters get there, as well, they can, you know, we hope to be there before them, or, you know, simultaneously to be able to press that disconnect and shut off power. But in the same manner, it's a safety concern if the firefighters are putting water on a house that's got electricity going to it. So the disconnect is there to be able to allow them to come up easily, shut off power, and be able, in the event that, hey, our guy hasn't gotten there quite yet, to be able to disconnect power. They should be able to hopefully be able to do that. Without a disconnect, they have to pull the meter, which is unsafe for them to do. So it's a safety mechanism that realistically is done without, in most situations anyways, it is done without prior notification to the homeowner, unless it's something that feels like, hey, this isn't an immediate threat to loss of life and significant property, that, hey, it's a smoke alarm, we're not sure the context of the fire quite yet. But
All right, thank you. I won't interrupt you again.
you're good. But basically, this solar policy is to bring us into compliance with state law. The current policy is more of a net generation policy, and state law, we want to try and get to where we are going along with the parallel generation type approach. We can choose either, but the state requires us to, at a minimum, provide parallel generation, and that's what this approach does. I believe it's slightly better for, it's still there is still an opportunity for a return on investment for the customer if they want to invest in solar, but it's something that modernizes our policy. And so this policy effectively makes it to where, in the event that somebody has solar panels, a windmill, whatever it may be, where they're generating electricity, we will bill them for any electricity that they take from the city of Coffeyville. And we will then give them credit for any electricity that they give to us. At the moment, it's more of a, at the end of the month, you calculate how much they gave to us, how much we gave to them, and we bill them for the difference. Whereas we're going to be changing that to, it's a process that we will be billing them for everything we give them, and we will be giving them credit for everything they give us. So the rate of charge, essentially, is we will be charging them our retail rate like we do anybody else, all standard customers, and then what we will be paying them for energy will be what we paid to GRDA for the month. It's our cost that we would have paid for that power had they not generated that power. So essentially, they become our power supplier for however much they produce instead of GRDA. So, and it fluctuates from month to month because our cost to GRDA fluctuates from month to month. So whatever that cost is on that given month will be what they get paid for that electricity that they export to us. So it's a little bit different calculation than what we're doing currently, but the state law previously was you could do 150% and of what the cost was, and now it's 100%, and so we're going to the 100%. We are as well with the intent here that we could provide a credit, a substantial credit, in the event somebody does have a significant amount of generation for the course of the month and not a whole lot of usage, that they actually could wind up with a credit on their bill. It's an unlikely scenario if they don't have much usage at all, if they're on vacation, you know, over the summer months or winter months, whatever, and they have very minimal usage, but they have solar panels, and so they could produce a lot. But the the system that they will install is capped in correlation with what their peak load was in the prior year. So that way, somebody doesn't install a system that is 5 times what their usage was last year, and then they end up selling power to us all the time. It's intended to be capped, and that way, it's something that a significant number of people hopefully have an opportunity to at least potentially invest in if they decide to. If we left it uncapped, then you could have one person come in and build a massive solar farm, or it can't be any kind of generation. It could be even gas like we do, but they could build any kind of generation that then they essentially sell to the city of Coffeyville. It's geared this way to try and cap it at what their usage is, and that can fluctuate from year to year. So if they build a new shop and have a woodworking business out of their new shop, and want to add more solar panels a couple years down the road, they can do that. But we do limit them to what their peak usage was. The other component is that we have a system cap. Right now, this year, it'll be 6% of the utility's peak demand over last year, historic peak demand. Next year, that'll go up to 7%. The following year, it'll cap out at 8%. That's why the state law ends at 8%. That could change in the future, but right now, in 27, they're capping that at 8%. So we could have somebody big like Walmart or CRNF or somebody, a big entity that would decide that, hey, we want to build a substantial amount of our own generation, that then we might have to say, all right, well, they ate up the vast majority of that 6%, and then other people aren't able to build. But with the cap, hopefully, we're able to, if you have a number of residents, businesses, et cetera, in the community that want to go the solar route, they have that opportunity to do so because they're able to go up to 6% of our peak load. And that will be something that will fluctuate again from year to year. So if our peak goes up next year, the year after, et cetera, then that amount that we have to allow for the customers to be able to build will also go up with that. I know there's a lot to that. I'm sure there's some questions,
There's a lot.
but
It was a lot.
Ready for questions? So I had previously talked with Chris before and had a lot of questions answered about the two-way meter and how that flows and different what if scenarios. So I got those answered.
Okay.
If you want to hear them. My other question was, you had a section in here, part 2 technical requirements, and it's on the energy system control and automatic disconnect if the voltage fluctuates too much, things like that. And then you had a requirement, and I know this is just following electrical standards that are nationwide, but you had it would disconnect if the operating frequency range, the hertz got out of range, 59.3 to 60.5, but really you want it to match what we're generating. You don't want that to be out of sync probably very much, maybe a tenth of a hertz. But so question is, you had some other requirements here. System protection in section 5, loss of a single phase supply, equipment failures, abnormal voltage or frequency, meaning fluctuation. How would you test that their automatic protection system works? Is that going to be right at the beginning and never again, or is this once a year, every other year? Because 10 years down the road, how do you know their automatic protection system will continue functioning as intended?
that's a great point. So they're, a lot like our own system. The expectations are that there be routine maintenance performed and inspections performed on this equipment. We would hope that they would do so. But in the event that their equipment does fail, that's why we do have some fail safes, both on we require that disconnect on that we would maintain, that would make sure that, hey, look, if the hertz gets out of range, or we have too much power fluctuation, voltage fluctuation here, whatever it may be, that disconnect automatically trips like a breaker, that would say that, hey, there's something wrong with their system that's exporting energy to us, so we're going to now disconnect them and isolate them from our system.
So are you saying they have to have the system that automatically disconnects, but then you're going to have the city's going to build in their own system for that house or property that does the same thing, like redundant, or are you just going to make them have it?
So they
And ver-
essentially pay for it up front, so that way we know, because we don't want the customers at large to have to pay to protect this solar development for this one private customer.
Yeah, it says in section 5, the owner of the customer-owned distributed energy system is responsible for providing adequate protection to the electric utility facilities, et cetera, et cetera.
Right.
The owner is also responsible for providing adequate protection to its facility under any utility distribution system operating condition, whether it's customer-owned or not. Question is, I don't see in here where it says where it's going to be maintained, how it's going to be tested, how to make sure it's operating correctly years down the road, except right, at the initial state. But what about 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, 5 years from now? How are you going to make them? I didn't see anywhere it says it has to be maintained, tested, and proven that it works.
So that's a great point, but we certainly will have our own system redundancy protection there, because we do have in our system breakers that when there are issues with voltage across the line, that will trip and say, hey, there's something wrong here. Our relays, our electronic controls in the system would communicate essentially to the power plant via SCADA that there's an issue here, and we have power coming through being fed to us. That's really the main concern, is that we don't want power being fed to us at a different voltage or a different hertz than what it should be, and so it's unsynchronized, and then we could wind up with some danger. And so
Right.
it'll protect our system, it'll protect our equipment. Their equipment should be doing that on its own. It will when it's hooked up to start with, in terms of annual inspections and whatnot, to make sure that, hey, that's something that's required. I don't believe that that's built into this document. This particular document is one that we use as a template from KMU, the Kansas Municipal Utilities Organization. I don't believe that that's in this. We could add that if we wanted to,
I'm surprised they don't have it.
just as another protection there. But we do have our own system protection as well that would have, if there were an issue that one of our breakers should trip, that would fuse would pop out that would say, hey, look, there's a problem here, and so we're going to isolate the problem until you can go investigate what the problem is.
And you really want to be the second line of defense. You want their equipment to
Correct.
be the first line of defense.
So their system with their automatic disconnect and their monitoring equipment will be that first line of defense. And if for whatever reason it failed, then we'll have that second redundant line that would, our breaker would trip, but they should have that installed on their own, and that should work. But if for whatever reason it doesn't, 10 years down the road, then we'll still have some protection on our end to make sure that none of our people get hurt.
So you wouldn't want to put in a every other year or every 3-year test?
We certainly could. I can visit with our team about that to see what might be a good timing threshold for that. I'm
Or
not
if they
sure.
think it's worth it?
Yeah, there's a first level of personal responsibility. Second, when you think about those systems and the warranties, if you're not getting those regularly tested, you're defaulting on warranties. So I think there's enough thing in place for them buying new equipment, for us protecting ourselves. That's a personal responsibility to
Well, I would-
verify, because
what
it won't hurt us if they're not testing because of the things that we have in place, but it will hurt them.
So it's certainly something that we could look at if you would like us to, from a policy perspective, look at, hey, do we want to make extra requirements here? But that's not something that I believe is currently within the policy, but we could certainly look at that if you would like us to.
Really, I was just, maybe ask KMU why they didn't have it.
Okay, I can certainly do that.
Any other questions?
I read through the rest and had other
What-
questions answered.
If there were no other questions, I will move to approve Resolution R-25-97 as presented.
I'll second.
Motion is made by Mayor Maples, seconded by Vice Mayor Van Oster to approve Resolution R-25-97 as presented. Vice Mayor Van Oster.
Aye.
Commissioner Hendricks.
Aye.
Mayor Maples.
Aye.
Commissioner Faulkner.
Aye.
Thank you. All right, now, Resolution R-25-98, a resolution to amend the 2025 City of Coffeyville fee schedule to add a tiny home application fee. City Clerk Melissa Carter will make comments.
So this is an easy one. We
Yes.
passed the second reading of the ordinance to allow tiny homes. So now it's necessary to add that application fee to the fee schedule, and the proposed fee is $25.
Awesome.
Right. If there's no further questions, I will move to approve Resolution R-25-98 as presented.
Second.
Motion is made by Vice Mayor Van Oster, seconded by Commissioner Faulkner to approve Resolution R-25-98 as presented. Commissioner Hendricks.
Aye.
Mayor Maples.
Aye.
Commissioner Faulkner.
Aye.
Vice Mayor Van Oster.
Aye.
All right, discussion on direction to address the Woodland and Buckeye intersection of the walking trail. Executive Director of Public Works Jim Wright will make comments. Good evening.
Good evening. The situation has come about, people are concerned about the separation of the road and the walking trail. The distance of separation and the elevation change in the road and the walking trail. Currently, there's anywhere from 18 to 24 inches separation. At the most, I think there's about 24 inches elevation change between the walking trail and the road. The commissioner could choose to do nothing, and we would just put dyed concrete on a slope in between the two. That was the original plan. Or we could we could just leave it at grass in between there. Because part of the issue was the walking trail only needs to be 8 foot wide. Ours was designed at 10 feet wide. The contractor made it at 11 feet wide along the way there. So that added to the issue, the illusion that it's closer and steeper than what it is. So the three options that I've written down there for you guys, option one, the trail was constructed 11 feet wide, was only designed to be 10 feet, but only required to be 8 feet. If we have them remove 3 feet of the trail and grade the slope, that would be close to a 6-to-1 slope. No vertical separation would be installed. So I know a lot of people have asked for bollards to be put in, something like that. Without a curb and gutter there, you can't use bollards. The way it is without a curb and gutter, there's no, with the ditch there, it's 7 feet is the clear zone. So you can't have any obstructions within the clear zone for that speed limit there. So you'd have to have a guardrail, which is crash worthy. That'd be just like on a bridge approaches. That would be just the standard gray guardrail there.
Would that be sufficient to protect someone if a southbound vehicle tried to make that turn and lost control and hit it? Would just a standard guardrail be sufficient?
I can't answer that for you. It's meant to slow vehicles down, guardrail is, it's not meant to stop them. Ballards are meant to stop vehicles. That's why you have those in front of grocery stores, or in front of Walgreens, and
Solid
those to
steel
prevent
posts in
vehicles
the
from
ground.
going into the
Because that
store.
guardrail's just gonna bend, and if you're standing right there, it's gonna bend right on top.
Guardrail's meant to give with the impact to slow the vehicle down. Everything is designed to give way, but to keep you try to keep you in the roadway.
Well,
And
in that scenario I just described, it wouldn't be a glancing, it would be a head-on impact with the rail.
Yeah, you
If
go
they were
right through it.
southbound and tried to turn onto Woodland and lost control, they'd go head-on
Right
right
on
straight
top of
into
it.
that rail and could depending on speed, go right over the top of it.
You are correct.
That'd be ugly.
It would.
And for sake of pointing out both sides here, I just want to say, we do have sidewalks on 11th, people going 45, 50 miles an hour, not accidents every day. So this is this unique thing where we've had enough members of the community say, oh my gosh, isn't this a huge problem? That's why we're bringing it up and ultimately turning it over to the commissioners for what's a decision here. So
Well, I think
It-
that
the way it was
difference on-
designed-
on 11th is you're going straight, and that curve around from Buckeye to Woodland, that can be dangerous. I think people don't slow down. They take that curve really fast.
Well, I know what you're saying. You got sidewalks on
You
11th
do?
in downtown around the college that are right by the highway.
I know, but that's quite a.
So
turn.
what we're doing here is we're expanding outside of the grant to do these programs, and that's why we're coming here to, what's your pleasure? Now, the funds are there, Jim's pointed out, we can use the transportation funds, but
Well, my position, and I'm not speaking for the entire commission, is that of these options, I'm not looking at cost. I'm looking at what is the most effective way to protect pedestrians that may be on that walk during a vehicle out of control. So what's the best way to do that?
I would say bollards.
Well, I
But
think
I don't think he's dead yet.
Okay, yeah, let him finish.
I think we got ahead of him.
Okay.
Because he
recommend,
only got number one done.
well, and number 2 would be remove an extra 1 foot of the
Yeah,
trail
there's
and install guardrail there.
Okay.
And everything we've recommended so far, or I've mentioned so far, would be a 50-50 split with the CDBG. We've went back and asked for an extension, so we would pay half of
Half
that,
of it.
so. But
Okay.
item number 3 is reconstruct approximately the east 330 feet of woodland, shifting it north to better align with Buckeye and lowering the roadway to more match the trail. And then add curb and gutter, just come down Woodland and around Buckeye there.
Okay.
If we have that, we could add ballards in behind the
Okay.
curb and gutter there. So there's only 12 inches of separation required for the clear zone behind a curb and gutter. So we could do that. It'd make the Woodland come in more to 90-degree angle to Buckeye. We could, right there at the east end, Woodland kind of dives off
Right.
into Buckeye, so we'd gradually slope that to more match the trail.
Okay. Okay.
That cost would be somewhere between that $100,000 and $120,000.
Would CBDG supply any of that?
Of course, the $120,000 is totally our cost. The moving the road is gonna be that, 90 to 110,000, and then the, adding the concrete and the guardrails, or the ballards, I'm sorry, the ballards around there
Okay.
would be split with CDBG.
So if we didn't do number 3, and you said remove foot of extra trail and install standard guardrail, and I drove by and looked at it, and even my concern was that you say it goes down. Well, you're gonna have to do something between the road and the and the sidewalk, because I think heavy rain, water would wash dirt, something away between that.
Yeah.
And you may have to put heavy rock in there with guardrail, something to not let dirt wash away from underneath that sidewalk and then collapse it. And so then I started thinking, okay, if you're gonna do that, then if you said move the road, reconstruct the road, you do a curb and a gutter, water from the road goes down the gutter, inside the curb. You put the rock in between the curb and the sidewalk and protect against wash away and
Well,
keep that sidewalk.
we'd do dyed concrete between the curb and gutter and the trail.
Okay, then you'd protect the,
You
yeah,
protect the trail.
underneath, so the trail
Yeah.
wouldn't, dirt wouldn't wash from under it, collapse.
All
and
three options would have stand
Correct.
and stand.
That's
clean up.
probably,
Yeah.
yeah, it probably is the best option. I
Yeah.
think, what,
Number 3.
Yeah, okay.
and that's what you really think is the best?
I mean, it's gonna be the best long-term.
Yes,
really
that is
believe.
staff's recommendation.
Okay.
Yeah.
No, look here, don't look over there. Okay, you're looking here, don't look
No,
over there.
No, I stepped up and said what Jim wanted to say, which is 11th Street, and, just make sure we consider all options here. So-
Well, yeah, and if you say,
Yeah.
No, you're gonna have to make
I think the best thing to do would be option 3, but Jim, personally, man, people walk up and down 11th Street and around 11th and Walnut, people coming east on 11th Street, they take that corner pretty wide and going pretty fast, and
if we're worried about people losing control and going on the sidewalks, like we have a lot of other places in town that,
I know,
that could
I know.
happen.
But to make this look good and to kind of fix some of the problems with the geometrics with that intersection of that corner, I think option 3 would work best.
All right, then I am going to make a motion to address the Woodland Buckeye Walking Trail intersection by reconstructing the approximately 330-foot east of Woodland, shifting it north to better align with Buckeye, and lowering the road to the way to match the trail, and add a curb and gutter, and the separation to allow to have bollards installed instead of a bridge guardrail.
And I second option number 3.
Okay, for the amount of
In the amount of $100,000 to $120,000.
okay.
Okay.
Does that work?
That works.
All right.
Okay. Motion is made by Mayor Maples, seconded by Commissioner Faulkner, to go with option 3 to reconstruct the approximately east 330 of Woodland, shifting it north to better align with Buckeye and lowering the roadway to more match the trail. Add curb and gutter. The separation will allow the city to have bollards installed instead of bridge guardrail at the cost of $100,000 to $120,000. Mayor Maples.
Aye.
Commissioner Faulkner.
Aye.
Vice Mayor Van Oster.
Aye.
And Commissioner Hendricks.
Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
I hope there's no
Thank
more
you.
surprises with this intersection.
Don't look at us like that. All right, we will now have our city manager's report.
And I'm going to turn it over to Jim for some road project updates.
All right.
Okay, on what we labeled as our 2025 street improvements that Bettis Asphalt is working on right now. Stark Street, the westbound lane is complete. The eastbound lane is complete from Klein to the tennis courts. The reason they've stopped at the tennis courts is because we're going to do the parking lot, and they want to tie the road and the parking lot and also Lee Street in all together there. So that's the reason that has not been
Well,
completed.
how's that going?
Going well, going well. Buckeye was scheduled to be completed today, but that rain shower that we had, that ceased progress there. They will be back first thing in the morning to complete that. First Street has been milled. Repairs will be made next week, and they intend to overlay between Buckeye and Central next week. Lee Street, which is right on the east side of the tennis courts, that the rock grade is complete. Next week, stakes will be set for the curb and gutter, and curb and gutter is scheduled to be completed by September 30th. The tennis parking lot, rock grade is scheduled to be completed by next week. They started working on removing the existing parking lot, or will tomorrow. Next week, stakes will be set for the curb and gutter, and that curb and gutter will be completed by end of September. Originally, Bettis was scheduled to be here the first week in October, start laying asphalt. They ran into problems elsewhere on other projects, so they came and started early. 7th Street, east of Cheyenne, the mailbox are being moved. Roadworks begin there next week. 6th Street, the water lines have been installed. They've tied into the main. The contractor is waiting on approval from KDHE before they make all the tie-ins. They will have to install the new meter boxes and switch over after they get approval. So that should happen here in the next couple weeks. On Woodland, the patching has been completed, and you guys just approved to alter the intersection. So that work will begin probably next week, we're hoping. And that is all the roads that we're working on that project. The CRMC street project, 4th Street is complete, and then curb and gutter will be, get started next week west of Klein in there. They filled the gutter with asphalt because the road had been widened at one time, and there was only 2 inches of asphalt on the part that was widened, so when they milled it, it exposed the rock, so they filled it back in and then added 2 more inches on top of that, so they filled the gutter pan in, so we will have to, that'll be an extra, but we will get that addressed all the way to Sycamore Creek. Also, if any of you go by there, you'll notice that Sycamore Creek, right along the curb, or just on the east side of the bridge, the curb is busted out where the county had showed up with their excavator and it broke some of the curb out. So they have been working there the last day and a half on the log jam. I would say they'll probably be complete tomorrow and be moving out. The first, second, third, and Poplar and Wilkie is scheduled to get started the first week in October. So those are the current projects that we're working on right now.
Thanks, Jim.
Thank you.
Boy, if people ask for roads, we're giving them roads
Give 'em
here.
roads.
So more to come. We've got more in 26 and
Before you
27.
leave, Mr. Wright,
Uh-oh.
he already knows this. I'm still
It's
unhappy with the
it's on my
force-
list to talk about too.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, then you can talk about
No,
it.
go.
No, you go.
Okay, 4th Street. So we had the inspector and engineers come out. Jim can correct me here, the discrepancies had to be over 3/16 of an inch. And so many of the areas where it feels,
Bumpy, Ripley.
what's that rumble?
Washboard.
Washboard, there's
Washboard,
the word.
yeah.
That washboard, we're not out of that 3/16. We had about 10 to 12 areas going west and east, 1 to 2 foot square areas that are outside of that 3/16. But our options within the contract don't make it a good idea to go in and replace those. When we talk about the depth of that road, we're talking, this isn't full replacement. This is inches that we're working on and for them to come in. So what, Jim, help me here. It's something about, it's considered above 90% complete. So within our contracts and the guidelines we follow are state guidelines. They would not have to come in for those few areas that are over 3/16 of an inch and just redo the whole thing. They would come in, they would grind down the road, and you'd see those spots and it would still be, you'd still have the same experience of bumps that you're having in some of the other areas. So not optimal here on options. We're being told by both the engineer and the inspector that a lot of those washboard areas, heat and pressure will flatten those, smooth those out more. I don't know if that's really the case or not. Driving down there, you definitely feel those areas. But based on our state standards within our contracts, most of those areas are within acceptable amounts. So, again, not optimal.
Yeah,
Kind of one of
I
those.
just can't
how do
believe
we-
that's acceptable. I mean, brand new road, paid a lot of money for it. It's not smooth. It's washboarded in some areas. It's just
So we're
maybe
gonna-
we need to adjust our own guidelines about what's acceptable. Because I expect a roller pavement to be laid, a roller go across it, make it smooth, not washboarded. I mean, I remember when the highway was completely redone from Coffeyville to Caney. I don't remember. I thought that was a pretty smooth road the whole way for 14 miles. I don't know how we can't do 4 blocks.
Yeah. 10th was just done. I've driven that a few times between Independence and Coffeyville.
I think we have to somehow figure out our own acceptance and standards, because this is done all over the world. It shouldn't be that hard to make a smooth asphalt road. If you properly do it, it's not. They know how to do it if they know what they're doing.
Yeah.
We're paying a lot of money.
I don't disagree at all. I'm kind of at a loss myself on what to do and how to do. I can give lots of excuses. None of them are going to sound good.
I know. It just-
You know, we're a small rural community. We had one bid. Of course, we're trying to solve that by bidding out early. We've already been, we're going to bid for projects next year. This last year, we were trying to do these projects quickly towards the end of the year, and so there's some
Was
speed
this
to
one of
that.
the projects where because of the time we wanted to do it in, you gave about 30 days for bid?
Well, I think we do all of our bids that way.
Well, I'd say 30 days isn't enough to get contractors that you want. Because if you put it out,
I think the time of the year was really at fault there. Is they've already gone out for all of their big bids throughout that year. So that's why we're doing this.
well, it's that
sooner.
too, but when you only give 30 days to put in a bid on a major project, they might not even come look at it for a week or two, and then they got to have manpower pulled off something else to estimate it, and to them it's just not enough time, and so they just don't do it, and we don't get the bid, an opportunity to work with them. And I'd just say probably 60 days is more, more time to get more construction companies interested.
Yeah, we can look into increasing times on those. We can go back and kind of analyze what we've done when we've had multiple bids and how long did it take people to come in, and they all come in last minute when we're doing 30 days. We can also look at what other communities are doing on their timelines.
And if the good ones are busy, right?
Yeah,
So-
and that's why that project was bid at the wrong time of the year. We're trying to be well ahead of that, hopefully to have both competition and, enough time for them to submit those. And I hate to say it, there's right or wrong. I wish I could say it was wrong. We're a small community. These are big projects to us, not necessarily to others. And when you become the community that's going to make them rip it out all the way, even if it's state standard would say it's good, you start tightening your standards, you're also going to see a decreased pool in who's going to bid and who needs
wants
to
to
bid.
deal
Do with you.
Yeah.
Yeah. they
Well, I
wanna
don't
deal
think a
with you.
smooth road is too much to ask, and not be washboarded.
Yeah.
They can make a highway from here to Kansas City and not have that much washboarding.
So we've reached out to the engineer. Of course, they're here for a lot of our other projects, and so I'd like to go out and travel it with them, and you and I can both hear from their mouth and ask some of these questions directly to the engineer we're using, especially if we're coming around on multiple other projects and we see some of the same things. So
But didn't the engineer initially say, this isn't optimal? This isn't the norm?
well, everybody was like, "Oh yeah, that's why is this?" That's why we went out and did the testing, and testing was within, on most areas, within that allowable limit from state standards.
Well, and again, you just check depth. So if you look at washboarding versus, if you had a 3/16 dip over 2 feet, that's different than if you have 10 3/16 dips, 20 of them in a row within 2 feet.
Yeah, like I
That's
said,
different.
most of those were, again, within those state standards acceptable. Most of those washboard areas.
I just can't believe that's acceptable, but
Okay. Work session. We'd like to do a work session on September 18th, if commissioners are available. Now, we can also adapt this a little bit and, have commissioners come in 1 or 2 at a time. This will be for our water rate study. We've been working on that for several months. And it's time to show you the data. So just like we did with electric rates, we'll have the consultant company there through Zoom. We'll meet with them. We'll walk through the models, kind of the why. One of the most, important things that we have to get moving on here is funding 2 major water projects, and we do not have enough capital reserves to fund those. The most immediate one is the 8th Street water project. So everybody for weeks have seen our engineers out on 8th Street. That was for that water project. We had applied for a grant maybe even a year ago. At this point, that grant is frozen. They haven't canceled it, but there's no determined time where it's going to turn back on. So we have to move forward. Our grant that we have to replace 8th Street, the road, has to start in the fall next year. So we have got to get moving on this. So that's why we want to show you what we're thinking from the rate study, what our needs are going to be. We have enough money to go ahead and do the 8th Street water line project. We wouldn't then have enough money to continue on with some of our plans for the water plant. And so within that rate study, we'll be talking about needing a bond, needing to move forward on a bond, and what that's going to look like, what's that going to do to water rates, those sort of things. So that will be the first, I'm sure, of many meetings that we want to kick off with you. So
Time?
I think standard we've been doing 5:30. So that is a Thursday next week.
Yeah. That works. Works for me.
I think it works for me right now.
Anybody that doesn't work for, like I said, we can bring you in and we can do, 1, 2 meetings at a time. But if we can get at least 3, that would be great. So that's why it's you can hear from the engineer versus just us, if you need to.
Okay.
Does that work for the other 2 of
Yep.
you?
So far, yeah.
Yeah. We
I'll
can
make it
get
work.
together afterwards.
I'll make it work.
Okay.
I'll make it work.
Public hearing notice went out for the budget, so our next commission meeting will be the approval of our budget. I did want to bring up with the tennis courts. So if you recall, July, when we had the conversations of last year, move forward on the tennis courts, I had been not quite 2 months in, and some of the process for how we were doing things at the time was that staff will take care of certain areas, including doing concrete and sidewalks and things. So within our ultimate cost, those costs were not presented as needs for cost because staff will take care of the sidewalks. Well, we're not going to take care of the sidewalks. We're looking for a different level of quality that we can produce. And so you will be seeing here in the next meeting or 2, as we're tying up the rest of the tennis court projects, we'll have to come in and get funding to pave the remaining of those sidewalks and some of the work that's going to have to go with that. So just wanted to put that out there and say that now. That was on top of what was approved. I think we're looking at around $100,000 to $120,000 over then on what was originally approved to get that done. So, saying that out loud so you're ready when that comes. And unless there's any questions, that's all I have.
When are they going to put the stuff on the tennis court?
They're supposed to be, they're planning to be done with the tennis courts by the end of September, maybe first week of October.
Awesome.
But you can have the parking lot around, the sidewalks are not ready, so it's not necessarily let's run in and go play, because you're going to be going through mud and construction to get in there. So we're hopeful, barring weather with our street projects that are going on, that in November we'll have everything complete.
Okay.
And let's have a grand reopening.
Yes, we'll do that just like we did for the last project. We're going to do that for the trail as well once we complete that project.
Okay, good, thank you. All right, do we have any comments from commissioners and staff?
Ben, Where are we on the bids for parking lot, the parking lot issues? I believe if memory serves, I think we're 2 meetings beyond when we were supposed to have those originally. So where are we now?
We are out for bid on the 3 parking lots.
So we
the
are
2
out for bid. Good.
Yep, the 2 parks, and then the one on 11th and Walnut, those are out for bid.
Okay. Thank you.
Anybody else?
No, I don't
Okay.
have anything.
All right, then with nothing else, I will make a motion to adjourn.
I'll second it.
Motion's made by Mayor Maples, second by Vice Mayor Bannister to adjourn. Can I see a show of hands? Thank you.
Thank you.